Is there an imposter among us? I mean, a real one. If yes, then have you ever questioned yourself who it might be? Welcome to Daily Horror, and be prepared for the horror among us. The space horror mystery game Among Us has taken the internet by storm, and while the game itself features pretty minimalistic graphics, some amazingly detailed fan art highlights how horrifying the game actually is. It's a horror that just hits differently, at least in my eyes. I think it all comes down to the nature of the threat you're facing. Most horror games throw you into situations with limited resources and seemingly insurmountable threats, but there are always patterns you can observe and ways you can win, because as much as a horror game needs to scare you into feeling like you'll fail, it wants you to progress. Among Us doesn't care if you win or lose, regardless if you're human or imposter. It simply gives you a map to play on and leaves you to it. That frightens me. Hundreds of thousands of players have flooded Among Us 2 years after its initial launch. And this piece of artwork hits close to home for many members of its current player base. These situations are terrifying to be in because it's difficult to tell who the real imposter is, and even those who are telling the truth can be put in precarious situations. Not to mention, how the imposter kills crewmates is also a horrendous experience. A group of teenagers decided to play the game in real life. They thought it would be fun and nobody would really get hurt. But you never know who the imposter is. Neither in the game, nor in reality. A game has gone wrong. Before we dive into today's story, hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to get notified when we upload a new video. Let's begin. My friend and I decided to play the game Among Us. Ben's family owns an old schoolhouse, and we did it in there. We had little tasks in different classrooms, and we all picked task cards in our role, imposter or crew. Ben came with 8 blouses, and each of them had a different color. We decided to turn off all the light and give everyone a candle, so we could have a small amount of light surrounding us. No one would talk to each other except when a meeting was called. When an imposter murders someone, they will lay on the floor where they were killed. Everyone would have their phones so that they could play a sound for reporting a body. When a body is reported, they will play the sound to alert all other players. Everyone will stop whatever they are doing and go to the main classroom. In that room, we set another device that could play the noise for an emergency meeting. In the same room, we created a spot for all the dead players. Whenever a meeting is called, all dead players must go to that spot and wait there until the meeting is over. If you are voted off, you must go to the place with the dead people and show your paper saying if you were an imposter or not. In that spot will be papers with everyone's names. When you die, you're to put an X next to your name so that people know who's dead and who isn't. We named the classes after the rooms in the game, and so we started playing. It started normally, but as I was going in the toilet, I noticed the white guy lying on the floor and laughing. An emergency meeting was called, but neither I nor my friends saw something, so everyone decided that they wouldn't vote anyone out for now. I decided not to interact with anyone, as a safety precaution. Later on, we had just finished the meeting during which things had gotten pretty heated. Yellow said they'd found Blue's body in one of the classrooms, marking the third dead body to show up in 5 minutes. With just 5 of us left, the pressure was on to identify which of us was the killer, eject them, and throw them in the corner of the main classroom where they belonged. Blame was handed out and fingers were pointed in every direction. Noticing that Yellow had been oddly quiet for most of the game, I wondered aloud whether he'd reported Blue's body to throw us off the scent. I was overruled, and the meeting ended with no ejections, and plenty of mistrust. We all went our separate ways after the meeting, none of us really trusting the others, creeping through the school floors towards darker places. I knew before it even happened that something bad was about to go down. Seconds after leaving the hall, Yellow ran to the corner of the room and killed the brown guy. Having not immediately realized that I was there, I took my chance and made for the door. If I could get back to the main class and call an emergency meeting, I could tell the others what I'd seen, and we could get rid of the imposter. So I ran, heart pounding in my chest as Yellow followed close behind. Either I was just far away enough so they couldn't kill me, or he just polished off one of my friends and had to wait a few more seconds before he could strike again. I decided not to think about that and focus on running. I managed to press the button and call an emergency meeting. One more guy with a paper on his head, but there is still one more imposter among us. With 3 players and 1 imposter left, things were getting creepier. The school was huge. For a moment I got scared, and not thinking about the game, I thought I could hear noises from the upper floor. But one of our rules was that you couldn't go upstairs. So I was wondering if one of the guys had broken the rules, or if someone else is upstairs. I almost forgot about the game for a second. That's when I heard footsteps behind me. I quickly turned around and saw someone walking towards me, and I confess, this is where I lost all my marbles. I screamed out bloody murder as he advanced towards me, and I noticed a bloodstain on his pant leg. Was that there before? Why isn't he saying something? Is this really where I die? A million questions flooded my mind as he advanced closer still. He was about 20 feet away from me now, and I could smell the blood. It was splattered all over his leg as he stepped even closer to me. 15 feet. 10 feet. Out of nowhere, I heard another set of footsteps and I saw Ben approaching. Yelled out to the guy, "Leave him alone!" I felt insanely relieved that he was here, and he immediately stopped where he was and had a look of regret on his face. Multiple people showed up as they heard my blood-curdling scream across the school. I figured out he was approaching me and pointed out the blood on his pant leg. They all seemed to notice as well, and soon everyone was murmuring about him. "I didn't do anything," he said, almost begging to us. "What have you done?" Ben shouted at him. A moment later he dropped to the floor. "How do you explain the blood on your pants then?" He didn't answer, and he looked like he was going to throw up. He confessed that he hurt Pink. He thought to join the game without even asking. This sociopath turned the game into reality. We were all scared and didn't know what to do. We took Pink and ran. Ran as fast as we could. We could hear each other breathing loudly. My heart was about to explode. We found the imposter among us.